It is March 30th, 2026. We are in Santee, California, after the town center fire, and we have a battalion chief from Santee Fire, and he's going to tell us kind of about what happened, how many acres, all the different cooperative packs that came out today, mutual packs of all the different agencies, any injuries, and what possibly could have started this fire. Welcome.
Hi. So I'm Scott Larson, Battalion Chief for the Santee Fire Department. And it's Larson, L-A-R-S-O-N.
Okay. So, yes, can you tell us about this fire?
Sure. So this started at approximately 6:30 last night, right here behind us. Initially reported about 30 by 30 foot fire. However, it grew rapidly, and with a little bit of wind on it, it pushed to the east here, along these commercial structures here in the parking lot here. A Michael's store, other large commercial buildings over here to our east that it was threatening. We did have a pretty considerable ember cast, embers from the fire flying up into the air and then dropping onto the roofs of some of the buildings here that were of interest. So we had personnel from a ladder truck up on the roofs of those buildings, making sure that they weren't going to be impacted there. It ultimately grew to approximately 4 to 5 acres here, which is pretty good size in our river bottom. It also was threatening some homes on the north side of the river in that area as well, and it burned essentially over towards almost to Cuyamaca Street.
What was the wind factor yesterday during the fire time?
I don't know the wind speed offhand, but you can feel just right now like we have our normal prevailing offshore or onshore winds rather that were pushing it to the east.
Okay. And can you tell us about the different partners that came here and they are still here?
Absolutely. We had quite a few resources here yesterday from all around the East County, obviously Santee, Lakeside, San Miguel, El Cajon, La Mesa, and beyond. We also had a helicopter from San Diego Fire Rescue here. We had Copter 3 performing water drops on it, even in the night hours as well. And we had assistance from CAL FIRE as well with hand crew and additional personnel. So today we have a bit of a scaled down response. We still have 6 fire engines here and 1 water tender, and they're essentially performing mop-up operations. There's a lot of areas within the burn perimeter that are still smoking, and they're getting in as far as they can access into the river bottom to access those we just call them smokers that you can see within the burn perimeter. So that's today's operation, is really mop-up, perimeter control, making sure we try to have this thing buttoned up, hopefully by later this afternoon.
And you know, we living in this area, you know, Lakeside through Santee and west, it's not uncommon that we have fires in the riverbed for a lot of different reasons. I assume this is still under investigation, Chief?
That's correct.
Okay, so you can't really say anything about what.
Right, we don't have a real cause at this point. That's still under investigation.
I can call the Santee in a couple of days and get a media request, right?
Sure.
Yep.
And we had Sheriff Baumgarson out yesterday, attempting to find the point of origin and the cause.
Right. And so one thing I noticed on social media later yesterday and today, I'm not sure exactly where they were but they were within this perimeter someplace. There were kids and there were other people, and I actually saw a shot of a lady. Somebody took a shot of her. She's running, and she's got 1 foot up in the air. She's running to get closer to the fire. Now, I understand wind and how winds change, sparks, and things that can go south very, very. So I'm wondering if you have any recommendations for people who, it's not your curiosity to see something, even though you might be afraid of it. You know, you're, oh, not my home, not whatever. But maybe you saw some pictures. Well, you were here. You saw people like right up on the sidewalk, and you know, until I assume they were cleared out by the sheriff. But they were there right up front, and I'm wondering if you have any recommendations for safety, especially a fire of this size.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
flames were unbelievable in height.
Right. And I'll say that was pretty surprising for this time of year. The intensity of the burning really was surprising even to us, being that it's still late March and we've had, you know, a good amount of some heavy rains here and there, and still it was very, very active burning. And I would say, don't ask. One, heed the warnings when we were telling people to get back, and we have the sheriffs there evacuating. We're doing that for their safety, and it's not just for show. It's really, for anybody who got that close, the radiant heat that you can feel off that wall of flames, you can really underestimate that. It looks impressive, but from 50, 100 feet away, you can feel that heat.
And that's a good point, the heat factor. And
Right.
also, you know, the first responders, you and the sheriff, you have to get in, and that can impede when you have civilians who are naturally curious, right? It was a
Absolutely.
big fire. It wasn't a little fire. I mean, all fires are not good,
Right.
but it was a big fire by the flames I saw on pictures of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so-
we're trying to remain mobile. We're trying to follow this fire as it progresses to the east, and we need to reposition fire engines next to the next building and the next building. And if people are in there, you know, taking their photos or videos or whatever, they may be blocking parking in areas where we need to come in and park a fire engine.
So are there any? There are no more hotspots, right?
There, I wouldn't know. I would say there are still. If you're able to go see along the edge there, there are still some smokers
Okay.
inside the perimeter that we're trying to address. The ones that aren't too far in, because ultimately it is still the river bottom, and there's areas where we would have to be, you know, waist deep in water to try to access some of the burning trees and stuff that are within the interior of the burn.
Were there any encampments or any people that are living in this, let's say, half-mile area that you know about?
Yes, there are. We have seen several encampments in the area
within
here.
the perimeter here.
Yep,
Okay.
within
So
the
they
stretch.
moved, or were
Right. Yeah, we have no reported injuries of any civilians or firefighters on the incident.
Okay. And I want to first thank you before we wrap this up. And is there any message you're Santee Fire, and we respect our fire department and sheriff and Lakeside too, and all the other responders. Any other message to the community of Santee?
Yeah. Again, I would just say to you know, heed the warnings when these bigger fires develop and we need to evacuate areas or have evacuation warnings or even orders, to please just heed those. It's going to allow us to get in and do our job and protect everyone else's lives, homes, and property.
Okay, I want to thank you very much for taking your time, and we'll go down and do some video. I'll take some video and some still shots of that too. Thank you again, Chief.